Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea from Hindu philosophy, this whole concept of goodness. But look, this isn't just about trying to be a good person. We're going to uncover a hidden trap, a really strange paradox, where the very pursuit of purity can become its own kind of prison. So let's just jump right in with the question that gets to the absolute heart of this. Can being good actually become a trap? I know, it sounds completely counterintuitive, right? But you're about to see how even our very best virtues can hide a really, really subtle form of ego. To really wrap our heads around this paradox, we've got to start with a foundational concept, the three gunas. The easiest way to think about these is as the fundamental forces, or qualities, of cosmic nature, what's known as Maya, that basically color every single part of our experience. So the word guna itself is Sanskrit, and it literally means quality or mode. And these aren't just some abstract philosophical ideas, not at all. They represent the actual texture of our inner world. They're the energies that shape our thoughts, our feelings, and, ultimately everything we do. So here are the three big ones. First up, you have tamas, which is the quality of inertia, darkness, and confusion. Then there's rajas, that's the mode of passion, ambition, and restlessness. And finally, you have sattva, which is the mode of goodness, harmony, and clarity. Now, pretty obviously, sattva seems like the one to aim for, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on. All right, so let's zoom in on sattva. It's almost always presented as the spiritual ideal, right? The state that we should all be striving for. But what does it actually feel like to be in a sattvic state? What makes it so incredibly alluring? Well, a life that's really dominated by sattva is one of clarity, harmony, and purity. We're talking about a state of deep inner calm, contentment, and real steadiness. Just imagine your mind is totally clear, your intentions are pure, and you just have this natural sense for what's right. It's a beautiful, luminous state of being, for sure. And this brings us to one of sattva's key powers. It gives you this crystal clear awareness. From this calm vantage point, you can finally see the chaotic pulls of passion and the heavy dullness of ignorance for what they really are. You get this profound insight into how your own mind is working. So far, so good, right? I mean, clarity, harmony, joy. What could possibly be wrong with any of that? Well, this is exactly where the paradox pops up. Why do the ancient sages warn us that even this state of seeming perfection is still a form of bondage? They use this incredibly powerful metaphor to explain it, chains of gold. Think about it. It doesn't matter if the chains that bind you are made of rusty iron or shimmering gold. They're still chains. They still limit your freedom. And here's the crucial insight. Sattva, for all of its beauty, is still a quality that exists within the mind. It's a state, an experience, a stage on the journey. But true liberation, the sages tell us, is about transcending the mind and all its qualities entirely. And this brings us to the very subtle culprit that's hiding inside this golden cage. We're talking about a specific, very refined type of ego, one that doesn't feed on power or wealth, but on goodness itself. So, let me introduce you to the sattvic ahankar, or the sattvic ego. Now, this is not your typical loud, look-at-me ego, oh no. It's a quiet, subtle feeling of I-ness that gets attached to its own virtue. It's that little part of us that whispers, I am such a good person. I am so spiritually advanced. Look how humble I am. See the trap? Think of it like this. The gross, rajasic ego is obvious. It screams, I am better than you, and it's always chasing power and status. But the subtle sattvic ego is so much trickier. It whispers, look at how humble I am. Its currency isn't money, it's praise for being good. It's hidden and just quietly self-righteous. There's this great story that illustrates this perfectly. Picture a holy man who gives this profound spiritual teaching for 9 days straight. Hundreds of people are there, totally moved to their core. When it's all over, the man sits there, outwardly quiet and calm, but deep inside, his subtle ego is on high alert, just waiting and listening for one thing, a single word of praise. And then someone comes up and says, Swami, that was amazing. In that instant, that one sentence becomes the payment for 9 days of what was supposed to be selfless devotion. And right there, the ego's hidden agenda is revealed. The spiritual act got co-opted. Its true reward wasn't the act itself, but the praise that came after. To really get the damage this subtle ego can do, let's use one more analogy. I want you to picture a big pitcher of fresh, clean, pristine milk. This milk represents a pure, selfless action. Now, the sattvic ahamkar, that little bit of pride in our own goodness, it's like taking one tiny spoonful of dirt and dropping it right into that pure milk. The whole thing is now contaminated. It doesn't matter if it's 99% pure milk, that tiny bit of dirt spoiled everything. Would you still drink it? Of course not. And that's exactly how even the slightest attachment to our own goodness can poison our spiritual efforts. So you see, the ultimate goal isn't just to become the most sattvic person you can be, the best version of yourself inside the system. The real goal is to transcend the whole system entirely, to finally break free, even from those beautiful golden chains. And there's a word for this state, gunatita. It describes someone who has gone beyond all three of the gunas. This is a state of being that's no longer defined by goodness, or by passion, or by ignorance. It's a state of genuine freedom. Because ultimately, even the most refined ego is still trapped in the same old game of comparison. It's always measuring. I'm more knowledgeable than you. I'm more humble than you. I'm more evolved. It even gets to the point of I'm more liberated than you. That active comparison is the ego's signature move. The way out isn't about trying to do even more good deeds. It's about a fundamental shift in awareness. It's about moving your focus from the I who is doing the action and instead recognizing the divine source that allows all action to happen in the first place. You move from ownership to just being an instrument. And that leaves us with a final thought to reflect on. We all have this subtle little mechanism inside us. So the question to really ask yourself is this: what praise is your ego secretly waiting to hear?